In this segment, we're going to look at how the power of a 5G mobile network can be harnessed to create fan engagement experiences inside football stadiums, a bit like what we were talking about with Sanjeev earlier. But we're going to focus on a project that culminated in a proof of concept trial at an MK Dons EFL game last month. Before we chat about it with Alex, let's look at how that POC manifested itself at Stadium MK. Alex, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Tell us about the project.
Thank you. So the VISTA Project stands for Video and Stadia Technical Architecture. We're a project consortium, number of partners who I'll mention in a sec, but we're part of a DCMS funding scheme called 5G Create, which is looking at bringing 5G use cases to businesses and consumers in the UK. And fundamentally, we're looking at using 5G broadcast technology to bring what you just saw to life on the video there, which is kind of multi-angle views to fans in stadiums. Yeah. So there's just some of the project partners. I myself work for DTG. We're a digital TV group, so we're a kind of broadcast industry association. But we had everything involved in the project, from the mobile network operators through to the kind of apps and customer side of it and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah.
Thank you. At the risk of asking a daft question, which is kind of why I'm here, why are you doing it? And what challenges have you faced along the way?
Yeah, well, I guess we've heard a lot about the fan experience today, fan engagement, all of that kind of talk, personalization. So, we've been doing a lot of work on kind of what's the point of this, what's the kind of route to market of this stuff, and who's gonna take this stuff up. And we did some market research. I mean, quite unsurprisingly, a lot of people want to use their phones when they're at sports events, typically for things like photography, messaging, filming, that kind of stuff. But things like video is often challenging in a stadium scenario where you've got a lot of people there. And the reason for that, which I'll just go through in a sec, is basically because of the amount of people in the stadium. It's difficult to kind of everyone to watch video at the same time. You don't have enough capacity in there. So 5G broadcast we can use to deliver multi-camera views from areas that they can't see normally, alongside kind of audio and stats and things like that. People get that kind of sofa experience, I guess, but with the live atmosphere as well. And I guess just quickly, I mean, I know there's a lot of broadcasters here today, so this is probably pretty Janet and John stuff, but current situation is mobile networks use unicast, so if someone wants to watch a video, it gets sent to them. If someone else next to them wants to watch the same video, it'll get sent to them as well, and quickly the capacity gets eaten up. And we're looking at the broadcast multicast concept, which would just send out a kind of channel of information to everyone at the same time. And just an example of that, as Sanjeev was mentioning, NFL and that kind of how they do things right. And at the Super Bowl, they had a very similar app to what we used in our trial, providing multi-angle views and stuff. And Verizon spent about $120 million installing all the kit at that one stadium, which is all a kind of unicast 5G network, to obviously allow other things as well, but to cater for video traffic over that network for 80,000 fans. And the technology we're looking at can be deployed for as little as kind of £300,000 kind of thing for a stadium solution. So clear benefits there. Yeah,
I mean, anybody who's tried to get half-time scores at a football match will know the difficulties that we're talking about here. Let's talk more specifically about the MK Dons proof of concept. What happened, and I guess, did it work?
Well, there were some hairy moments, I can tell you. Yeah, there was. It's an R&D trial, so there was a few moments where we're thinking, "Oh my God, this is not going to work," but it did work on the day. It was all right on the night, and yeah, the reason we were doing it at MK Dons is because they're also doing a lot of 5G work themselves, and they're looking at how to get fans to the stadium in an environmentally friendly way, in an efficient way, and automated transport and all of that kind of stuff. So it fit. Our kind of solution fit well with them in that they're getting fans there in an efficient way, and then when they're there, they get an enhanced experience. So we deployed 5G broadcast network there. We hired a bunch of kind of fans to sit with the kit for the afternoon. Then we had a customer focus group at the end of them and asked them what they thought of it. And we also kind of dished it out to some directors in the directors box and let them kind of do their worst on that, and then let us know what they thought of it afterwards. And I guess there's the kind of technical for the kind of production people here. We had 4 cameras which we positioned around the pitch, and then that's a kind of mock-up of what the app looked like, which you saw in the video. So then we had some kind of bonus content and stuff like that as well.
Thank you. So importantly, what have you learned, not just from what the fans experience, but also from the club's point of view and from your practical deployment perspective?
Yes. So, well, from the fans' perspective, they instantly got it, which is great, because we had a focus group right at the start of the project, which was start of 2020, and we didn't have any app, we didn't have any videos, we didn't have anything we could show them. We just had to try and explain it to them. And to be fair, it was pretty lukewarm, the reception. And they were like, "Well, I just want to watch the match. I don't want to watch my phone." But when they got into the stadium with our app and the technology, and they were there live, they instantly got it. And they kind of felt that this was the future of watching TV. That was some of the feedback watching live sports. Sorry, this was the feedback we got from them. They instantly kind of worked out how to complement the match and not distract from the match. So they were looking at replays, looking at kind of, if someone got kind of crunched in the corner, because there wasn't any goals that day, unfortunately. So they could watch it again, or they could find out what happened. And then we had some bonus interviews with the manager. And they really got it. And they saw potential for all sorts of other stuff to go on top of it. So stadium information, accessibility information, scores from other matches, as you mentioned. All sorts of different bits. And just things like, cues for the bars and stuff as well, in fact, they mentioned.
How does an app like that, or a service indeed, fit into the club sort of ecosystem?
Yeah, so the way, we were, like I said, working with the MK Dons directors and people like that, and the way they saw it working was a kind of platinum lounge experience type thing. So for the people who paid a bit more money and got the leather seats, it would be incorporated in that price, and it'd be a bit more about the kind of how they offer a wider service to that. But they see it as well as they get lots of different types of fans going to matches these days. It's not just your kind of week in, week out people who know all the players and all the stats and all that. It's also people who go to kind of maybe like one-off of like the major events, or people who go along because people they know are going along, so it's kind of fear of missing out. And to be able to engage with all of those is difficult, so you really need a kind of, this kind of technology here allows you to kind of, although you're kind of broadcasting the same thing to everyone, there's a suite of information there that people can still personalize, so it allows you to kind of offer different things to different types of fans.
The elephant in the room, of course, is the rights. So tell me about media rights. How would this work in conjunction with media rights? And is this potentially something that, for future rights cycles, would have to be thought about at that stage?
Yes, of course. We came across the kind of point of rights during we were trying to kind of set up trials and stuff like that. With MK Dons, they get, and I guess with all football teams, they can use the content live at the match for whatever they want within the stadium. So it didn't really cause a problem for that. But if we were looking at things like kind of remote distribution as well, so you could send the same content to fan zones and people could watch it on their phones, and it could also cater for the big screen. And then in that scenario, it needs to be factored into the kind of rights conversation. So this is like early days of this technology. This was a kind of proof of concept. That's why the government funded some of it. But the technology is now becoming available. So it needs to be kind of thought about in kind of rights discussions going forward now to kind of bake it into that and see what's possible from a business opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Before we sort of bring this to a close, what happens next with this project?
Well, so the the whole aim of the driver of the project was, at the start of this, there was no phones that supported 5G broadcast technology, so you couldn't deploy this anywhere. And there's always been an impasse of, well, the standards were available, but it wasn't put in the phones because there was no business case, and there was no business case because it wasn't in the phones. And the reason why we did this project was to show there was a business case, which would then lead to the phones getting the information. So now we have got Qualcomm producing test handsets, and we've got those handsets available. So we want to push on with further trials with sports venues, football teams. We're looking at further trials at motor racing, which I think could be a great use case, golf as well. Really kind of drive forward those business cases and get it to market, really. That's the main thing. And through the project we did learn there is value in this, and you wouldn't need a lot of people to be subscribing or watching before you could make money out of it as a sports venue.
Thank you. Yeah. If you just click that forward, if you need to know more, that's how you get in touch with Alex about the VISTA. That's all we have time for, but if you do want to find out more, Alex is around for the rest of the day. There's clearly some obstacles to overcome, but there's so much potential here too. So good luck with the project. Please keep us in the loop with future developments. But for now, please join me in thanking Alex for his time.